Please, I can't barely hear you. So here it says that, so when Surender asked, what's the matter? Why you didn't come to school? So Satish replies that he says he doesn't know what's the matter. Okay, and he had been pretty bad since the last operation on my leg. Okay, last operation in my leg. It says that maybe he had some operation on his leg. Okay, and he also says that since the last operation he is getting even the terrible headache. Okay, and he also feels as if everything going dark and silent, so it means that he is not able to hear. Okay, and he also says he is miserable means unhappy. But he asks, why are you speaking so silently? Okay, so Satish is asking Surendra why he is speaking so softly and he cannot barely hear him. So next paragraph. Surendra gave him a strange look. Strange means a funny look. He had certainly not been speaking softly. Has he lost his hearing? Wondered Surendra. Okay, so so here you can see here, though Surender had asked Satish several times the question loudly, he feels that he has spoken very softly. So when Satish asked, why are you speaking so softly? Surender, what did he do? He looked at him with a very strange way. That means he was surprised to know why he is speaking like that. So because he had been speaking so loudly and Satish couldn't hear it, and he wondered has Satish had lost his hearing. But this he did not make him do, that means he did not ask. So this is the characteristics of a good friend. Okay, and he feels that if he asks this, he may feel it very bad. Okay, so if any other person would have been there, they would have asked, what's the matter? You can't hear. But this Surendra, who looks at him and immediately in mind he thinks, is there any problem? And he is thinking in this mind because if he says these words, Satish would get even more upset. Okay, so next paragraph, 7th paragraph. Poor Satish, he had been ill ever since he came back from the holiday in Kashmir the previous year. So this paragraph says that the previous year they had gone to Kashmir in the holidays. Okay, ever since he had come back from this Kashmir, he had this problem. That means he is fallen sick. Okay, so next paragraph. There had been an accident when he went hiking with his father and brother in the. They were crossing a rickety bridge. Rickety bridge means a weak bridge over some rapid. Rapid means a dangerous part of the river which flows very fast because it is steep and sometimes narrow. Okay. So they had gone to Kashmir. So there they met with an accident. So what happened? While they were crossing the rickety bridge over the rapid, that means the rickety bridge, the weak bridge on the river, they were crossing that, and the boys here refers to Satish and Inda. Okay, these two boys, they stood on that bridge and looked down at the swirling water. Swirling water means the water that moves in a circular movement. Okay, so these boys stood on the rickety bridge. They looked down at the swirling water. Okay, look how the water is rushing at that spot. Satish pointed out to his brother. Okay, so Satish, what did he do? He showed his brother in the, okay, how the water is rushing at that particular spot. So while just he was saying that, his foot, whose foot? Satish's foot slipped and he lost his balance and he fell into the rapid. So this is how he met with an accident in Kashmir when he had gone in holidays for hiking. Okay, so his screams were lost in the rushing sound of the water, and when he regained consciousness, his legs were in plaster cast, and his head hurt badly, and he was bruised. Bruised means injured and aching all over. Okay, so like this, he fell into the rapid. Okay, and his screams were lost in the rushing water. That means his voice could not be heard in that noise. Okay, and when he regained, it means when he got his conscious back, he could see is that his legs were wrapped in the plaster, and his head hurt. It means his head would have hurt to something in the place, and he was bruised. It means he was injured and aching all over. So every part of the body was hurting. Ninth paragraph. Though his legs healed, they remained weak, requiring several operations on them. Worse, he suffered frequently from bouts of fever. Bouts of fever means a period of illness, and infections, especially of the ear. So this paragraph says that his legs were healed. That means it will become all right, but they remained weak, and it required several operations. It means they require several operations on the legs. Okay, so Burns he suffered frequently from bouts of fever. It says that he had to face a lot of problem, especially with his ears. Okay, often used to feel fever. That means used to have fever and infection, especially of the ear. Okay. Next paragraph. Seeing that condition, that is Satish in a pain, Surender now got up to go. Will you come to school tomorrow? He asked. Okay, Surender, who had come to ask Satish about his wish and why he did not come to school on that day. Okay, so seeing his condition, okay, he just wanted to leave him alone, and he leaves the place asking whether he would come to school next morning. Okay. Next, Satish shook his head. Okay, Satish, he knew that he is not able to go to school, but he did not say anything. He just said that he shook his head. That means he said he will come. Okay. Next paragraph. A slow tear trickled. Trickled means flowed slowly. That means he began to cry. Okay. His cheek. A slow tear trickled down his cheek after Surender left. That means he began to cry. Satish began to cry after Surender left. Okay. He felt that some huge weight was pressing upon his head. Okay. So, and making everything that is some far away and silent. And he felt helpless and upset at being confined to bed. He felt as if some huge weight was pressing upon his head, making everything seems far away and silence. He felt helpless and upset at being confined to bed. Okay, and the silence was the worst. Everything seemed like a scene from some pantomime show. Okay, and he wanted to scream to break his silence, but didn't. For the 8-year-old boy, this was terrible. The doctors didn't know the cause except that it was caused by medicine given to treat his legs. So this paragraph says that after Surender left the place, he began to cry. That means a slow tear trickled down. That means he began to cry. That means tears flowed slowly, and something made him to feel that is a huge weight was pressed upon his head. Okay, and making everything seems far away, and was silent, and he was feeling helpless and upset at being confined to bed. Okay, just imagine 8-year boy who was supposed to be in the ground and he has to be playing always. Now due to this injury he was made to confined to bed. Okay, and for him the silence was the worst. Silence was the word. Why was he silent? Because he had lost his hearing. Okay, he could not hear anything what his parents were saying, and he could not hear what his brother was saying, and he could not even hear the birds chirping, and he could not even hear anything. Okay, everything seems like a pantomime show. Pantomime show means like the scenes from the thing. That means a very colorful look, like everything was there, and he could not hear anything. Okay, and he wanted to scream out. Okay, it says that something he wanted to break the silence, but he did not. They gave medicines, that is, the doctors gave the medicines to treat his leg, but it ended with being a deafness, and it's very bad state of affairs for him, and very difficult time for him and his family. Okay, next paragraph. Due to his frequent absence and his hearing problem, the school where he was attending till then informed his father, Mr. Avatar Narayan, that they couldn't keep Satish. We will have to look for a new school, his father said. Okay, so due to his frequent absence, as you all know that he met with an accident and he was not able to go to school for several days. So due to his frequent absence and due to his hearing problem, the school where he was attending informed to his father, that is Avatar Narayan, that they are not able to keep him. Okay, so we will have to look for a new school, said father. Okay, so father Avatar Narayan, who was an optimistic. Okay, he was very optimistic, and he doesn't want to lose the confidence of his son. So he says his son that we have to find a new school. Okay, I think you all understood this paragraph. Due to his frequent absence, it is Satish absent, and due to his hearing problem, the school where he was attending, it said that he will not be able to keep him and they have to find a new school. Okay, so father Avatar Narayan says that we have to find a new school for him. Okay, Satish shook his head saying no. Okay, so when his father said that we have to look for a new school, he says no. Why? Because he didn't want to go to a school where he couldn't talk to other children, where everyone would make fun of his deafness. Okay, so why he doesn't want to go to the new school? Because he felt that if you go to the new school, you find a new friends and they will make fun of him, they will make fun of his deafness. So he likes to go to his old school only, where he can meet his friend like a Surendra, and he doesn't mind to go to school even though he could not hear anything, but he wanted to go to his old school only, and he doesn't want to go to the new school because he feels that they would make fun of his deafness.